Which brings us to a perfect example of acceptable bigotry in our culture today. This example provided to you by CNN, an alleged news network. I'll just play the clip for you if you haven't seen it yet. Here is Don Lemon with two other guys laughing at and mocking millions of working class Americans. Watch this.
He also knows deep in his heart that Donald Trump couldn't find Ukraine on a map if you had the letter U and a picture of an actual physical crane next to it. He knows that this is, an administration defined by ignorance of the world. And so that's partly him playing to their base and playing to their audience, the credulous boomer Rube demo that backs Donald Trump, that wants to think that Donald Trump's the smart one and y'all elitists are dumb.
You elitists with your geography and your maps and your spelling, even though
your math and your reading.
Yeah, you're reading, your geography, knowing other countries, sipping your latte.
All those lines on the map.
Only them elitists know where Ukraine is. Sorry, I apologize. But
Ukraine? Oh my God!
But you know what? But it was Rick's fault. I blame Rick. But in all honesty,
blame
you know what
Rick.
NPR should
Why
do?
not? Sorry, hold on. Wait.
Can I tell
give
you
me
what?
a second. Hold on. Sorry. That was good. Sorry, Rick. That was a good one. I needed that. Okay, so listen. Let's get back to business here.
Okay, first of all, my first problem is that it's not funny. The worst sin that any joke can commit is failing to be funny. And if a joke succeeds in being funny, then it's redeemed itself, no matter the content of the joke, really. But it's not funny, and the reason why it's not funny is that being funny isn't the point. When Don Lemon is cackling like a slap-happy drunk and says, "Oh, I needed that," what he needed was an excuse to mock people he hates. That was the delight. The delight in that, quote, humor for him and for the other people on camera is just, it was an outlet, a way of venting hatred for this group of people. That's all. It wasn't the humor that anyone needed because there wasn't any humor there. There was no wit or anything like that. This was just sheer mockery. Mockery out of spite and hate. And that kind of mockery is never funny. Not because it's offensive. Because, and I'm not saying that mockery itself is never funny. Mockery can be extremely funny. But when you're mocking people simply because you hate their guts, and for no other reason, it's not going to be funny. Because there needs to be some respect, or at least some kind of understanding in humor for it to be funny, for it to be actually humor, and not just you ranting and raving. Now, the second thing, quickly, and just speaking for myself, I don't care at all, just to clarify here, for anyone who doesn't understand what people are upset about, and I think I speak for a lot of other people, but for myself anyway, I don't care at all about the first part of this where they're making fun of Donald Trump. That doesn't bother me. I will never be offended by insults directed at politicians. I think insulting politicians is as American as apple pie. I think it's patriotic. I think it's our patriotic duty to insult and mock politicians. I'm fine with that. I'd rather err on the side of disrespecting politicians than err on the side of giving them too much reverence, or any reverence, because we shouldn't have any reverence at all for politicians in this country. And I do think that there are too many people on both sides of the aisle who err too much on the side of reverence. I don't think it's not a left versus right thing. I think it's a matter of the human condition. There are some people who are inclined to fall into cults of personality and so on. So there are some Trump supporters like that, just like there were some Obama supporters like that. And other politicians as well have supporters like this who can't stand any mockery of their guy and have, again, reverence for him. I think that's a problem. And this is one of the things that separates us from places like Iran and Saudi Arabia. In this country, you can get on the TV and you can ruthlessly mock our politicians and powerful people, and they can't do anything to you. I think it's good for them. It's good for them to experience that, to be reminded that they're just people, they're human beings, they're just bureaucrats, they're not kings. And it's good for us to remember that about them. So that I'm fine with. Now, to do it on a supposedly unbiased news network is embarrassing and inappropriate, obviously, but whatever. I don't care. Insult politicians all you want. It's not going to offend me. The problem is it doesn't stop there, of course. The Trump stuff is only the first 5 seconds. It goes on for another minute, clearly directed specifically at white, blue-collar, especially Southern people. And the joke, the quote-unquote joke, is that they are dumb hicks who can't read and can't spell and can't figure out how to use a map. That's the joke. So this is bigotry. Plain and simple. Mocking a politician, that's not bigotry. Mocking millions of Americans based on their racial and socioeconomic demographic, that's bigotry.
Hey, you. You right there. Hit the subscribe button right now. Do it right now. I thank you for your compliance. It's somewhat appreciated.